My recommendation for Omaha Reads would be Wait Till Next Year, written by Pulitzer Prize-winning historian Doris Kearns Goodwin. It's her memoir of growing up in 1950s Brooklyn and her love of the Brooklyn Dodgers. When she was 6 years old, in about 1949, her father gives her a scorebook and teaches her how to keep score so that she fills in the grids when somebody makes a first base hit or second base hit or strikes out. And she learns to do her math, trying to change their batting average. And when he comes home from work every day, she tells him, this is the game that was on the radio today, and they go over it play by play. And it wasn't until years later that she realizes that he could get that information every day in the score box in the local newspaper, but for her it was just a special time and a special place and a memory with her dad. So she follows the Brooklyn Dodgers from 1949 until 1957, and she knows everything about the team. She knows the players. She knows Jackie Robinson. She knows Pee-wee Reese. She knows Roy Campanella. And she loves Red Barber, the man who does the play-by-play announcement. And so all the time that she's following them, her Dodgers get close, dance away from the series, get close, dance away from the series. And the Brooklyn Dodgers fans all say, wait till next year. Wait till next year, because they're going to take the pennant next year. They're going to go all the way. And lo and behold, in 1955, the Dodgers take the pennant and they win the World Series, and the world just stops for this author, because it is a time of such joy and such excitement that her mother and her sisters and she travel to the city to meet their dad, where they go to see the Dodgers when they're coming out, and it's just a marvelous time. And Miss Goodwin remembers it like it was yesterday. And in her little world of her childhood, all of her neighborhood friends, her church friends, her school friends, live in this very small community. And there are some Yankee fans and some Giants fans and, of course, the Dodger fans. But they still like each other, and it's still a good neighborhood. And when she goes into the little stores in the community, everybody knows who she belongs to and where she goes to school. And they can tell her what your mom's having for dinner because they know what her mom just bought. And it's a very tight community. And at that time, America is experiencing a huge boom in technology. There are new electric refrigerators. There's air conditioning. And to the amazement of every child in the neighborhood, there's a television with a 9-inch screen. But everybody in the neighborhood crowds around to watch Howdy Doody. But also in America at that time, there were the McCarthy hearings in Washington and the school segregation in Little Rock. And they had to be trained to hide under their school desks in air raid drills, and there was the Korean War. And then eventually, on September 24th, 1957, the Dodgers played their last game at Ebbets Field, and they moved to California. This is where you should have bad music for California. So even though the Brooklyn in 1950s might be a long way away in time and in space from what we know in Nebraska right now, I think the family-centered life, the love of sports, the whole goodwill for our community is so familiar with people in Nebraska. And who in Nebraska is not a sports fan? On the weekend days or even weeks later after a Nebraska football game, you can go into any establishment and people will say, did you see that play? What about this player? What about that coach? And they dissect everything, because we are a state of wait till next year's. We are willing to hang in there with our team. We celebrate every win and we mourn every loss. So I believe that this memoir would speak to all ages. I think that for people who love baseball, who love sports, for people who love a good story, even if you vote for another worthy nominee for Omaha Reads, I would think that you would enjoy picking up a copy of this book. It's a vibrant story, and it's well told, and it's certainly really fine entertainment.